You have been prancing around in the quantitative realm of GTA 5 for quite some while now, and you just realized you can now get people to surrender to you. However, there is a truth of the matter to this to most people. 90% of the time, you don't even realize why they're surrendering. And the 10% of the time, sometimes it's confusing to find out why they surrender to you, and other times it's actually justified. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to surrender someone every time. Alright guys, so getting right into things. First up, you're going to want to start up a capture hold. Now, I already things that are already set up here, so you don't have to set it the same way, or you could if you want to. It's just an area preference. Placement, you can put down whatever you want, but just make sure you reserve enough model memory, because I'm going to show you guys how to actually make the actors surrender to you. So there are multiple ways to do this. So this is the first method. The first method to get them to surrender to you, this is not by chance, is, I don't know why there are benches over here, that's weird. The first method to get them to surrender to you is basically put them on defensive. Now I'll just show you guys, let's see if I can find my opposite color. There we go, that's my color blue right there. So let's put a Felon GT, I don't even give a shit. And let's just put actors inside of it and outside of it, and I'll show you. So I'm going to label you guys how to make them defensive. So in order for this to happen, first off, like I just said, put them on defensive, and then after that, make sure that their weapon is on unarmed. Now this determines whether or not they'll be defensive and surrender to you on sight, like as if they're afraid of you, or they just surrender if you aim a gun at them. So you want to put them on neutral if you want to aim a gun at them so they can go down, which is what you guys should want. Or if you're like doing a robbery or something, you should just put them on hostile and they'll surrender. And just to label this even more, I recommend putting it on a pedestrian, whether it's special or whatever, as long as it's not like a cop or army man. I mean, it's completely up to you, but they just don't work as well. It would make more sense if it was one of these guys, so I just put down one of the Moto X guys, and I'll just put down businessman here. And this businessman is going to be neutral, so you guys will see. Also, I guess I'll turn them around just to make it a little bit more fair, because I can compare it a little bit easier. So now keep in mind, I will also show you guys what happens if you put them with a pistol. So say the security guard's defensive but has a pistol, then we can put that down if he's hostile, and then we'll compare him if he's neutral, and we'll see what the outcome will be from there. And also the cool thing is that if you were to say putting a police entity, so let me find a police car. I know there's a lot of stuff, I'm going to test it all in just a second here, so don't worry, but 05 represent. Say if you were to put police entities and you put them on aggressive just like normal cops, so I'll put this guy on friendly so he doesn't shoot my ass, and I'll give the other guy what he normally should have, which is a pump shotgun. Now we can change something in this car, and they won't just shoot both people, they'll only shoot the person with the gun. So if I put someone without a gun on defensive in hostile, and I put them inside the car by placing them over it, and then the other person was was aggressive and was hostile, there will be a very big difference here. Now if you want them to drive the car, you can put them on Wanda, but that's for a different video I've already made. Now we're gonna go test these guys. So first off, let's test off with the Moto X guys. If we could just load in here, there we go. So these guys, some guys are hostile, some guys aren't. So if I aim a gun at them, they already know my presence. It already highlights them on the map and so on. So if I just stand in front of this one Moto X guy, he's gonna notice me, and he's gonna surrender. See? He just surrenders like that. And so does the woman in the car. However, this woman in the car triggers the security guards, and they're shooting at me. So that's what happens if you give them a weapon. And that's, I believe the woman was on aggressive at that point. However, if I was to delete the actors in said vehicle and put down some other vehicle here, let's just say an SUV, and we'll do the same things. You see, defensive is going to be the unarmed one, hostile, and we're going to put an aggressive pistoler. This time the police are going to come after her, and it's not going to be so pretty. So you guys saw what the security guard did. Both of them, regardless if they're neutral or hostile, they will shoot you. However, the business guy, I will show you now. This will be a little bit more interesting to see. So if I was in front of them, the woman's going to come out of the car like normal. So let's just say I get in my car and I go to a traffic stop. So let's just say I pull up on scene like this, right? I get out of my car, I go to interact with one of the officers. Of course, I don't know why there would be two other people standing there, and I hold one at gunpoint. So if I hold one at gunpoint, it's going to try triggering them. So if I even get into someone's line of sight, like you'll see. So if I just run here, he'll get afraid. But if I aim a gun at this guy, he'll get afraid only if I aim a gun. Now the police are going to go crazy because they're shooting at me, and they're going to try to take her out. But since they're unfriendly, they don't give a shit that I'm actually shooting at them. So they're just gonna try taking her out, and with the shotgun they just did. So basically that's how you can get people to surrender to you. I'll show you guys one more time here. Okay guys, so in this scenario what we have here is 5 officers on this side, well 6 if you count me, and you have about 8 gang members over here who are defensive, and there's one guy down there who's a gang member who is aggressive. So if we want them to surrender to us, we just aim a gun at them and they'll just all go down. Now this guy's gonna start shooting at us, and the police are gonna take care of that guy, which is completely fine. Now it's gonna trigger any other police in the area to come to your scene. So you can see this police car is trying to get over here, having a very hard time doing so, but is still en route to the scene. Now sometimes they like to drive around like that, which is stupid, but still. So you've got guys down here. Now it depends on the scenario. Sometimes they'll get up and you can press right on the D-pad and arrest them. Sometimes they won't. It's all about a matter of preference, but that's the first scenario on how you can get guys arrested. Okay guys, the second way involves you having to at least have this mission done, and this is how to make people surrender when you're inside of an interior. Now this works with any interior that spawns people, so what you want to do for this particular one is start the mission friend request and just play it until the point you see here in the background. So as soon as you're done with the loading screen and you are greeted by Lester's big ass face in the loading screen, you will then be briefed at Michael to go to a suburban store. Now, whenever you go to that suburban store, you're not really going there. Actually, you're going to get a rocket launcher. Make sure you have a rocket launcher to do this. Line yourself up with the C and the O, and blow yourself up. Just release the trigger on it. Now, what should happen is you should glitch out in the background, and it should ask you if you want to restart the mission. You have to back out of that by pressing circle and X. I don't know what it is for Xbox, and you should load into story mode. Now you will load into story mode, and if you head over to the Life and Beta office, you will realize that the interior has been spawned in there. And along with the interior, so have ambient pedestrians inside. So if you go inside Life and Beta, you can actually make a whole shit ton of people surrender. Sorry about my language. But you can make a whole lot of people surrender inside there, and it's just really great. Fortunately, if you try stunning them, they die instantly, so yeah. Alright guys, so this next way is actually a little bit more of chance and luck for this to happen. But in order to do this, you need to be in director mode. Any character works, and you need to go to the scene creator. Now with the scene creator, you should get the option in any of the scenes. If you're not very familiar with the scene creator, it may be a little bit hard for you, but you'll get used to it. Go to props, any scene, doesn't matter, and go to benches, and be sure to place a bench down regardless. I tried doing this in the creator mode, it didn't really work that well, but that's not what the benches were from earlier. I don't know why they were out there. But you basically put down a bench. I don't know if it's just this particular one. I've only tried it with this one. I haven't seen it work with all the others, but I'm pretty sure it might because of the same physics. And whenever you do that, just save the scene and then load the scene back up. And eventually what you will notice is if you keep on driving around the block or so and you come back to the benches that are placed there, you will notice that there are actually people sitting there. So I thought it's a really cool feature that Rockstar added. Of course, just like normal people who sit on benches, if you try to ragdoll onto them or kick them or something, they will die instantly. If you try to stun them on the bench, they will die because they're sitting down. It's an animation, so the only way to really get them to stand up is to aim a gun at them, and they'll briefly surrender, but it's still surrendering. Okay, so now guys, this is the time when we start to head into more of the dialect ones, and this is actually a very weird and hard way to get someone to surrender. This actually takes advantage of the fact that AIs cannot actually jump unless they're like trained police or military veterans. But a normal AI like a street car or someone who's driving around will not be able to jump. So what you need to do is find any car and intercept the car. I bet I'm already going to get some questions about that Chrome Dodge Charger. I'll answer that in the comment if you actually ask about it though. But what you need is to get any car and you need to pull over or just pull in front of any civilian that cannot pull out of there. What you need to do is get any other kind of car and just surround the other two doors so that way they cannot get out of the right door. And so they can get out of the left door, but there's nowhere for them to go. That's because they cannot jump over any of them. Make sure it's very secure. And what you do there, you can do one of two things. You can either aim a gun and wait for them to get out, which does take quite a while. Or you can do the other option, which is easier, and pull them out of the car themselves and wait for them to surrender inside the circle. The cool thing about this is they won't run off if you actually drive the cars away. However, the only downside about this is that it makes a big mess, and by the time you do it, you already have a wanted level, so it's kind of not really worth it. I've actually done this with my friends on accident, so that's how I know about this method. But yeah, so that's how to actually make them surrender by using other cars. The last thing, guys, is actually something quite obvious that everybody would know about if they saw it on the map, and that is the store clerk. Now, of course, this one does come with obtaining stars, and along with a few of the others, depending on whether or not your wanted level is active or not. What you do is just hold someone at the gunpoint and wait for them to enter the register. Now, if you want to make this for a movie, like he's just surrendering, that's fine. But everybody knows about this one. I just thought I'd say the most obvious for last. Since people decide to do that to keep the video time longer, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, guys, so that's going to be every single last one of the ways to get people to surrender. There are no other ones. Unless you guys can tell me, then by all means, let me know in the comment section, and I will notify everybody else. With that being said, guys, I'm Officer, and I'm signing out.